Hi everyone, this is Access Chapter 2, movie number 4, and I left off in your book on page 116 where we typed in the new table, the TBL corporate, and I think one of the things that I did outside of the movie was to save this. So I typed all this in, short text, used the field size and the description as indicated in the book. And then when I went to save it, it's going to ask if you want to create a primary key. You want to say no at this point and call it TBL corporate. Okay, so the way this is this is called camel case. So we're going to do lowercase at the beginning, and then every word would be an uppercase as you so here's an example: QRY, that designates it's a query, order over 1,000. So the O's, which are the beginning of the words, are uppercase. That's what it's like little humps there. Okay, and that's the way that I would like you to do your naming. All right, so what we want to do is be in this table corporate in design view, right? So we're in design view. So oh, I'm in the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm going to close that out. We want table item. So I'm going to right click on table item, open it in design view. Hey, if you do it in datasheet, that's fine. You just need to switch over to design view. It's not a problem. So there's a notes field that's set up in here, and it's set to short text, and we want to change that to long text. So here's what long text does is long text is a data type where you have not a specific amount of characters. So like when you do short text and you define it as 10, 15, 50, every record takes up that many character spaces, whether or not you use them. So if you leave it at 255 and it's middle initial and you only ever use one, you're wasting a lot of space in the file. So you always want to do short text to an appropriate size. Long text is what's known as a variable length field, meaning that whatever amount of characters you use, that's what that field shrinks or expands to. Some of the things that are a negative about long text is, excuse me, you can't make it a key and you can't really search very well on it. But it's really good for things like comments, notes, those type of things where you may or may not have text in it. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to save it. Go ahead and close it. And then we're going to, on 117, we're going to talk about input masks. Input masks are things that display for a field that help the user put the data in the correct format. Some really good examples are phone number, zip code, password, if you would. So we're going to open up table corporate in design view. So once again, I pointed to table corporate, I right clicked, and I pick table corporate. So let's go to the phone number, right? So I'm on phone number, it's short text, it's 14. If you look down at this property, there's an input mask property. So I'm going to click in that box and come over to the right, and you'll see the ellipses. That's the little 3 dots. I'm going to click on that. It brings up the dialog box for the input mask wizard, and there's some that are already here and you could make your own, but hey, there's one here, I might as well go ahead and use it. So I'm going to select phone number, do next. This is the suggested format, and that's good, so we're going to go ahead and do next. Then this is, do you want to store the data with the symbols of the mask, so with the parentheses, with the hyphen, or without, so just the raw numbers? We want to save the symbols for this one, okay? Normally I would not just because it saves space and it's just the numbers. You can always format it to have those symbols. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do next and finish. So we're going to save our table and we're going to switch over to Datasheet View. And right now we don't really have anything in there. Notice that these are not wide enough to show the heading, right? So I'm going to move between and just double click, and double click. That has nothing to do with how much data is stored. It only has to do is when you're looking at it in Design View, how much space the column shows. Okay. We want to go ahead and type in a piece of information. Notice we have our pencil. Until that pencil's gone, that record is not saved to the file. Notice the input mask. I started typing and it brings up those characters that help me put the phone number in. We're going to go ahead and tab. It goes off of there. Now notice that I still can't see, so I could go back and make this so I could see all of that, right? I'm going to make sure I can see everything. I'm going to save it just because I changed the size of those columns, and I'm going to close that. All right, the next thing that I want to do is to format a field. So formatting a field is not the same as an input mask, right? Format decides how data is displayed and printed. Input mask is help when you're entering data. Okay, so we want to open up the table order in Design View. So I point to it, right click, Design View, and then I want to go to the field that let's see, table order in the in Design View in the first blank row. So we're going to put that there. Order date, all together, no spaces. It's going to be a date time. So I just typed a D. It goes to date time. Date order was placed is my description. Then down in the properties, I want to go to the input mask. Okay, so that's how it shows up when you're entering the data. I'm going to save this, and we want to make it short date. So this is going to be the input mask. You're going to have these slashes. It's only going to require 1 month number. So like if it's January through September, you only have to put 1. You can of course put 2 for October through December. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do next, finish. All right, the next thing we want to do is find this format line. So this is how it appears when you're using it, not how it appears when you're entering it. So on reports and forms, those type of things. So we're going to click the down arrow key there, and we're going to pick medium date. Notice that it's the date hyphen the month in Word, an abbreviation, and then the year. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to save. All right, so let's go ahead and switch to Datasheet View. And for the very first order date, you're going to type 05 and look at the input mask. It's 04/2018. Once I hit enter and we're beyond where I'm entering it, it changes to the format. So it switches there to the date, month, year. Okay, so if you take a look at page, okay, so then we're on 120. We want to do another one. So on this second one, we're going to do, oops, I'm sorry, I clicked weird. 05, 04, 2018. We're going to put that date for the rest of the orders, and I'm going to do that offline. All right, guys, thank you.